Is a general question, and we have bothered. We have this problem is a national challenge. We are treating the young people the same way we treat billionaires. So the billionaire who is doing business in Kenya is on the same platform as the person who is starting business. We cannot develop this country without affordable credit. I walked into a bank recently and they're at 26%. There's no way. Even when I offer opportunities, and I've mentioned, that's why we have a platform to monitor. Even when we give the youth work to do, I've cancelled in some cases 2 or 3 contracts. They are unable to finish because the money that they are getting is little. 2, we as counties have a problem about remittances. The young people want to do their work today, finish today, and you pay tomorrow. But the payment of their work depends on disbursements. I've in fact not finished disbursing the June. The June disbursement came late after we closed the year. The ones that crossed over in June will have to wait for the supplement budget. So the country must do another agenda for youth to ensure that they can comply. We have a fund, we call it Tetheka Fund, that offers 3%. And we found a lot of problems with it, a lot of default, a lot of manipulation, and we have changed it in partnership with Safaricom. I'm launching it in a few days, where these facilities will be available at 3%. Unless we give that provision for the young people, they will not be able to afford the sort of work. We will not even get to 30%. On the second one, the people who were attracted to come to work to Makueni are actually campers and have the applications. The non-campers were not attracted to the positions. And the people who ended up working with us, in fact, left Nairobi to come and work in Makueni. The lady seated next to me was in charge of finance at the University of Nairobi and left the University of Nairobi after working for 26 years to come and work in Makueni. So the challenges I've mentioned before about people, distances, families, etc., make it difficult from somebody from Turkana Senator to come and work in Makueni. They don't see the attraction of coming to Makueni because I don't offer them anything different from a person who walks next door, who walks out of Wote to come and work with me, and a person who is coming from a different place has no incentive. In the case of teachers and other professions, there's something called a hardship allowance. So if you are going to leave Makueni to go and work in Mandera or Marsabit or another place or Tana River, you get a hardship allowance. So if you come from those distances, I treat you the same as everybody because the law says I treat you the same. So if we want to attract people across board, perhaps then the Senate can rethink. If you have a threshold of, say, 10, like in my case, 10 ECMs, if I'm going to have 2, then they need to feel that they are treated a little differently because they have come from far, because they will leave their families, they will travel long distances, shift their children. Those are the challenges that we are having. In the case of doctors, they get some compensation for some of these things, but we do not have that privilege, and that is a challenge that I have to deal with, and I found it. Thank you.
Thank you. What you just understand that in the last 2 weeks, we had the people from NCIC before us, and they had a very good presentation, and Makueni was among the counties that were adversely mentioned to have not complied with the law, and according to the NCIC, they indicated that Makueni had only 1.9% of the PWDs employed. That was a report from NCIC, but different from what the governor has presented before us, because he has told us that he has 2.4%. I wanted the governor to explain where the discrepancy is coming from, and at the same time, the governor explained to this committee, 1, why he has deliberately decided not to follow the law. 2, what is his plan to see to it that he complies with the law of PWDs in progressively in future. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Senator.
Yes,
Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator Kamau.
Okay, maybe the NCIC had a female, total, and then the percentage. So perhaps the discrepancy would come from the number that NCIC has, and it would be nice to see that the number that they have.
One minute. Can somebody check for us that report is for which year, so that we don't get a report
and period.
Period, yes.
Because this is 3 years.
Exactly.
This is a period of 3 years.
You can check for us, madam?
Yes.
Thank you. You can.
And then the second one is even after recruiting chief officers, because I've only recruited chief officers and ECMs in the last 2 years, and maybe a few recruitment, there's still very low uptake on PWDs, very low uptake. So we have deliberately now said, let us go to the ward level. We are conducting the first census of PWDs, so that we know there's a PWD in this ward, that person has gone up to school, is educated, etc., etc., so that we know why they are not coming to the table.
Sorry, you can also discuss you can talk to National Council, people with disability also.
Yes, yes.
They will help you.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
We can ask them.
Yes.
But perhaps you can give our chairman, Dr. Nicodemus Muteti, who has been recruiting before I came, maybe has a different view.
Exactly what the youth has told this nation. What is your advice on what we can do so that at least we find that matters youth are addressed adequately and properly in the nation, not in Makueni?
First, allow me to say this, and I can say this on record, that even I don't think the government realizes that it has not addressed the concerns of the youth. The government today has just buried its head in the sand about matters youth. So the nation must be deliberate. One, the reason in my Appendix 5, I've bothered to say that the youth are possibly not even interested in formal employment. In Makueni alone, I have 228,000 graduates, young people, below the age of 35. Even if I attempted to employ them, they would not be interested. Unless the country becomes deliberate on matters youth, deliberate. Deliberate means that if they are going to afford credit, it must be cheap. If you are going to attract them to farming, there must be a reason they are doing the farming, and they must be paid quickly. They are not going to be interested. If it's innovation and technology, I have seen, because I have people came from Nairobi, others coming from Kajiado. We have to give them platforms. We have to give them ICT frameworks where they can go out there, fill in applications. When I was in the devolution conference in Kirinyaga, I met a young man in a hotel. He's a graduate, first-class honors, mathematics from the University of Nairobi. What job was he doing? His work was to write proposals and theses for people who wanted to graduate with doctorates. And we have so many others. I have a young man who graduated with medicine. He chose not to become a doctor. He's now a farmer in Makueni. This is what I'm saying. The conversations of the youth are not going to be addressed through the 30% framework, because I have shown you even in the list in Makueni, the youth are no longer 30%. They are the majority. They are the ones who are the majority. They are more than us. So if we are going to have matters youth, it can never be the 30%. A time is coming when the government will be of young people only, because we are the majority. And we must get very serious about their needs, how they are going to work, how they are going to be productive, because the young people, we give bursaries to people, we give help, and people have gone to school. Kenya has an educated population. And if we lie to these people, we are going to offer them formal employments of wearing suits, we are lying to them. And they don't want. They have found various methods. You can see how they organize demonstrations. They use their phones to organize demonstrations in Nairobi. So
thank you,
we have to think differently.
Is Senator Chimera online? Is he okay now with the response? Senator Chimera? Senator Chimera? Are you happy now? Sorry?
Yeah, there. He's not here.